It's more like a waiting game, right? That need to go into this creative space where the ideas are just flowing from someplace through me onto or into the artwork, and it can sometimes takes a little bit of a while. But one hack is just to start. And the good thing about how I make these paintings is all of these layers. You will hear me constantly talk about layers upon layers upon layers, ideas upon concept, memories, dreams, psychedelic experiences, desires, experiences, life, emotions, relationships, all those kind of stuff are stacked into the paintings. So the good thing about getting started is I can just do things, and I can always put on a layer or another layer on top of it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect or correct. In fact, if I can make something that challenges me a little bit, that's even better. And then I can build on top of that. So, and I think that we are going to start on this one today, or at least for now. Like that. Take over. So the quicker you kind of get into the flow, the easier it is to just keep going. If you're thinking too much about stuff, it takes a lot of time. So I know I want to fill out a lot of this canvas with these guys. So that is what we're going to do. Definitely. If we were going from this one, I talked a little bit about there was change, and I would like that these two new paintings is about the process of change. There's something interesting with slicing the canvas in two halves, and maybe have some form of a contrast in some way. So let's see if we can create that in some way. At least it is a funny thought to work a little bit with. When you're in process, you're going from one stage to another, so you're in kind of way two-sided, or in development. So that could be a fun concept to work with. These two, not necessarily that needs to be right in your face or the sole driving force for this piece, but just an underlying story maybe, that if you spend enough time with the painting, that you will recognize it. Those small details I think is quite funny to add. So when you're over time looking at the paintings, you will keep finding different things and different stories and different aspects. So you can continuously go on an adventure into the paintings and discover new things. I think that's quite interesting. It really does something when the eyes are being put into it, and then can kind of look different in different direction in the painting. And sometimes it's funny to guide the viewer's eyes outside the canvas. You know, when you're making a composition, there's some kind of rules about you want the viewer's eye to go to all the corners and in the middle and out into the corners, so you can kind of follow the painting around, and you're getting the viewer engaged. In photography and film, these kind of visual language. But sometimes it's funny to break those rules and have the viewer look outside. So if people are hanging this in the living room, there is something there. Could be a furniture, a vase, a bouquet of flowers, a cat, whatever. That's kind of funny, and then it has some interaction with the room it's going to live in. And I kind of like that. So, okay. We are going to mix up some paint.